Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started with this Ready to Love review, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
And if you like listening to audiobooks, make sure to click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial from Audible.
And also, if you enjoy shopping online, make sure you hit the Rakuten link also in the description below and get yourself a $10 credit.
And so now, ready to love.
Ready to love.
This week, they got to vote off. Tommy meets with them and lets them know we're going to vote off one guy.
And one girl.
One man, one woman.
That's right.
They got to go home.
Somebody got to get up out of here.
Yeah, and so Tommy says, I'm going to just prepare yourselves, mingle and check people out and see who we still trying to find some matches and fill matches out. Yeah. But Tommy's going to bring them a taste of home. He going to have a good old-fashioned H-town cookout.
H-town
Tommy going to be on the grill.
Now, I thought it was funny here because when you go back to it, Simone, yes, whoo, she was ready for the barbecue, the throw down, the cookout, whatever you want to call it, whatever word you use, she was ready for that bad boy. She was excited.
Yeah, Tommy said he gonna do it, and he said, Ed, when you feel like doing a little dabbling, you gonna help me out, son? He said, sure, I'll help you out.
Look at some of the food, man. Tommy had some chicken wings. He had some.
Them wings was looking good though.
But I ain't never been to a cookout where they had grits.
It must be an H-town thing.
It must be a Houston thing. But anyway.
And apparently Tommy got his own recipe for grits.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's later on.
That's later on. Yeah.
That's later on. But in the meantime, so we see them after they talk to Tommy. They have a little. I guess it's their social hour.
Yeah.
Time. So we see Adriana and Calfani sitting at the table together, and she says the last time, they were sitting on the couch. He had driven her blood pressure up. She was like, whew, my blood pressure was all over the place.
You're like, what?
He was like, I did what to you? And you could see old hating tail Denise in the background
I'm not even going to say she's hating.
She is.
I'm not saying Denise is hating.
She's a hater.
Denise is not hating. Denise is looking out for her man. She's like, okay, I see this heifer over here. I see her try to plot on my dude. She don't really like Calfani anyway.
She hating on Adriana. She's a hater. She's a hater.
I think she's just territorial.
That's called a hater.
Okay.
That's a hater.
If it's called a hater, it's a hater. She's like, yo, I guess she really like Calfani.
I mean, she does, and she said, in her little side interview, she was like, Adriana all up in his face. I ain't feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I give you this point. She's, she's sitting with Calfani sitting with Adriana, but she's still over there with Anthony. So right. I'll give you that touche. Okay, so she's sitting over there with Anthony. She's having conversation.
She should have been focused on him instead of looking at them.
Looking at the corner, yeah.
Yeah. And Khalil. Denise says Calfani. I don't know where I got Khalil from. I'm mixing stuff. Denise says that Calfani is still number one, but she said he got an interest in Adriana and giving her time. She said two could play that game.
Two could play that game.
So she gonna play the field too. So she goes out with Anthony, and she said he's still in the running. He's still in the running. And they have a little date or whatever. And what I noticed about Anthony, I was like, I guess I never noticed he was this silly before. He's jokey. I like it. Not silly in a bad way, but just silly.
Well, I think because they never really showed his personality. I mean, you think about the show, the first few episodes, they really didn't focus on Anthony. He wasn't in the picture until him and Denise went skinny dipping kind of. And when they went skinny dipping and doing that date, then you start to see more Anthony being around. So now you get to see more Anthony acting, and you see not acting, but you see more Anthony interaction with the women, because we see him later on with Winter and different things of that nature. So they focus, and as the numbers dwindle down, they have no other choice but to focus on him.
Right. But I mean, I like his personality. He's fun-loving, right. Likes to have a good time, and so he and Denise are sitting there talking, and he's like, I like your style, you like a go-getter, whatever. And he was like, you got that Essence Ebony vibe going on. She said, I actually was in Essence magazine. Oh, okay. And she talked about how at one point she felt like she wanted to go do something else. And she moved from Houston to New York. She had 3 bags. She only had the money in her pocket. And, she did her thing. She was living a life. And
she was grinding. She was on the grind. She talked about Anthony was like, oh, coming from the bottom and now you up here. Yeah. You go out and check it. I think it might be on her Instagram or somewhere else. Denise was on Rip the Runway years ago, so you might want to check that out. So she did some modeling things, so she wasn't lying.
Yeah, but she said after she had done that, she felt like in that space was like, it's time to go home. Yeah. She said it, and so she came home, and he gave her props for doing her grown woman thing and experiencing some life and realizing that I had to come back home and regroup or whatever. And the one thing we noticed was like, he was like, oh, that's so great, and he goes over and give her a hug. He's like, Anthony don't like giving them lips.
He don't get a lips up, dog.
No kiss. And no everybody else is kissing.
Everybody else kissing. Maybe that's a problem. Everybody else is kissing.
Everybody else kissing.
He like, nah, we ain't kissing. We're going to just go ahead and
he gave her a little hug. I was like,
You know what it is? He's being respectful and keeping boundaries. And I understand that. I understand that. He's keeping boundaries, and he don't want to cross any boundaries. But again, you already saw our boobs when y'all went skinny dipping. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more with him. I think it's a lack of being adventurous too, or wanting to try. But then we see Jay and Joy go on a special little wine tasting date. So this is something that Joy does regularly, and Jay says, I don't. You know about this, I don't, so I want you to, help me. We're going to do some wine tasting. Yeah,
I'm not that experienced in wine tasting either, but, there's people that can do that. I take my hat off to them. She was having them sniff the glass and close your eyes and sip this, and Jay figured, he can try to, figure out which wine was which. You know what I'm saying? Dog, on your first attempt, I don't think you can figure out which wine is what it tastes like.
But even before that, when she was like, okay, first you have to, you look at the wine, and he's like, oh, it looks like wine.
Like wine.
You have to smell it. And he was like, like, don't drop nothing off in the glass, sniffing it or whatever.
But you know what? One thing I did like about that date was Jay wasn't shy to admit that he didn't know anything about it.
Right.
2, he didn't mind allowing Joy to take the lead, allowing Joy to be able to...
That was the whole point, yeah.
To help out and maneuver in there, and that she could take the lead and show interest and give him something. So I thought that was cool too.
And so they talked about how does what kind of wine does reminds Joy of Jay, right, and vice versa, and she said he's like a full body red wine with chocolate notes, and he's vintage. He was like, well, I'm not old though, like put away. He was like, nah. And so Jay was like, well, Joy, you remind me of a wine that's like a South African vibe, and he was like, she was like, oh, you were right for the culture, right?
She is funny to me. I think she has a great personality. I think their personalities.
I think
their personalities do match each other. I think their chemistry we saw here, their chemistry started to pick up because, again, Jake, he said, if I can guess these right, what do I get? And then Joy came, sat on his lap, and let him taste the wine. And then at the end of it, he ended up losing. And so it was like, oh, you can get a kiss. And so he kissed one ear. Cheek. And
she was like, oh, I need one over here too. And got the little kiss there, and then they had the smooch on the lips.
Wasn't no smooch on the lips because she was kissing his lips. And so she was all on his lips. She was feeling the kisses. She wanted those kisses.
Not just do that.
Yeah, she wanted those kisses.
Of course she did. Like I said, Anthony to me is the only one behind the power curve. Everybody else kissing. But anyway, so then we see Rashid and Adriana. They go on their little private date, and again, we see the male kind of tailoring the date to the woman. Because apparently Adriana and Rashid have talked about her love of photography, or she takes a lot of pictures or whatever. So they're doing some photographing, and she says, I feel all tingly inside when I'm around Rashid, and we got all this vibing and chemistry going on. And
so what tingle does she get when she around California? Because she said the same thing. So what is it? A different type of tingle, or you just be tingling all over?
I think it's a different kind of tingle, probably in different places.
In different places, because she just be tingling all day then.
Yeah,
tingling, baby.
But I think she said before that the California kind of feeling she gets is more like she didn't say it. It's more like like puppy love. Yeah. Like I'm crushing on him when he come around. Like, oh my God, there he go. Oh my God.
Rashid is like,
Rashid is like, when I see him, it's like, there go Rashid. Oh my gosh, So it's a different kind of tingle. It's like this one puts me back where I'm so young and like, oh my God, I don't want to say the wrong thing around him. And the Rashid is more mature. But anyway, so they have a good time taking pictures, little selfies or whatever. And he said he had a good time with Simone, but Adriana's his priority. Yeah. He didn't knock Simone at all. You know, he was like, but Adriana's my priority. But I got these two.
They got time invested.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about time invested before the show.
Right.
They got time invested when they was out, you know, when he was married or he just finished his marriage. So they got a little bit of time. They have advantage over other people because they had dated before or went out before. Right,
absolutely. So again, we get some more one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. We see Simone and Edwin have a date. And this was this something pretty new, you know, with the two of them. And he said he's intrigued by her, and she wants to have a conversation with him. She's interested in the fact that, you know, I'm in law and you're in law enforcement. If you've been in the military, and then you went from that to being a chef, like how did that transpire? She asked him. She actually almost had him on the interrogation stand. She asked him a lot of questions. Who's in your family, you know, where's your dad, and you know, and he's answering the questions, but you could tell he felt uncomfortable. He talked about how going from the military to being a chef, just wanting to do something different and kind of getting out of that field to something maybe he enjoyed more. Not that he didn't enjoy that, but something that's more relaxing. And he talked about the fact that he grew up with his mom and his sisters, and that his dad was around, but he wasn't around. Yeah. So he was in the town nearby, but he really didn't deal with him. Yeah. And so she goes into, and I felt them, the way she was kind of asking her questions, I was like, well, dang, you drilling me. Oh, so that didn't bother you that your dad was around and he never came to see you?
It didn't bother me because I know her profession.
Right.
But it bothered him because I guess it's like it's too much. You really getting deep. But again, I'm trying to get to know you. But you're dealing with somebody who she asks these type of questions all day long. And
that's the problem. I understand this is your profession, but it's a way that, okay, outside in my personal, yes, I'm a lawyer by trade. That's my profession. That's my career. And of course, that means I'm inquisitive and I'm asking questions. But it's just the way you ask it. I felt him. I feel like he's on the interrogation stand.
But it's a progression too. But you gotta be. But she was concerned. She was listening.
Witness stand.
The witness stand. She was listening. She was understanding. It's just like, you know what? She was trying to pull out of him. She wants to find something to connect.
But she said, but he answered the question. He was like, you know, it didn't bother me none. I mean, my dad was there. He didn't want to be in my life. You know, it bothered me for a minute, but I got over it. She was like, I don't believe that. But I'm telling you, because I guess he was saying, like, I'm grown now at this point. I don't have time being in the military and losing people and seeing death all around me, being in wars and battles and stuff, and being in law enforcement and having to deal with that. I see that life is short and it doesn't pay me to hold on to, you know, the animosity. And not that he said he didn't have it, but he was just like, I can't get wrapped up in that.
Yeah, you know, with her, I mean, I can understand her not getting it, but with him, I can understand how you say, you know, I'm over it. I can say that myself. My dad was around military, the parents are married, but because of his missions and him being deployed and doing different places, he really wasn't around for some key things. I didn't hold anything against him. I knew that it was his job. So you can be over it. And she just had to accept the fact that, you know what, there are black men who are over the fact that their fathers wasn't around, and they turned out well. I'm not saying that that's where she was going, but every person who didn't have their father in their life on a consistent basis, for whatever reason may be, because every reason is not a bad reason.
Right.
That they're okay. They can turn out fine.
Yeah, but I think it's like you said, she was just trying to get deep and get to know him some more. So. But anyway, so then we get back to Adriana and Rashid with them after they finish taking their pictures or whatever. And they talk about the fact that they talked about she wants sons, and he already has a son, and she was like, she wanted 3 sons. So he was like, well, since I already have 1, would you be fine with just having 2 more? Yeah, that's fine with me, you know, as long as I have my sons. And they joked about the fact that oh, you look like the type of mom that would have the, oh, we team so-and-so, and everybody had a matching t-shirts and be like, this my crew. He said that's what he always wanted to. He wanted to be like, this my crew, this my family, and it's all about, well, not all about us, but you know what I'm saying, we represent the family. She was like, that is absolutely me. I'll be doing, yes, I'll be doing that.
Soccer mom.
Yes.
Soccer mom with the mini.
Where everybody be like, number 12 is my son.
I guess there wouldn't be a minivan soccer mom, not with the car guard, Rashid. So you wouldn't be in no car. It wouldn't be in no minivan.
I mean, it
might be pimped out.
Yeah,
it might be laid out. You know, it might be laid out, but nonetheless, you know. But good dialogue though. But those are the type of questions. You can see the different type of questions. They're getting to the point where they're talking about family and kids and maybe being together. And Rashid feeling her and. You know, and that's what you want to be at this part of the game, or at this part of the show. I'm gonna stop saying game.
Well, still at this point in the game.
Point in the game. This is where you want to be at. To have those. And Tommy was right. Get deeper, mingle, have conversation. Let's get there.
Yeah. So then we see them at dinner again, and it's funny because Rashid brings up the fact that when we sat and talked to Tommy. Man, my boy Brian don't never answer no questions. I said, oh gosh, why did he say that in front of Alex? Because she already on the fence. And it was like, you know, even and Brian chimed in. I was like, bro, you're not helping your case. He said, yeah. Tommy asked was I feeling like we were stronger or weaker? And I made a word up. I said we streaker. And they was like, man, leave it to Brian to dodge the question and make up a word.
Again, it goes back. Again, he doesn't understand. He's trying to be funny, but he don't really understand. She already has trust. Ever since the Alicia situation, she's already have trust issues with you. That's where she really, if you really look at it, their relationship turned south.
Right.
When the Alicia situation came up and realized that there's no trust there, and he be lying or ghosting folks, or as he says, what he say, it wasn't ghost, zombieing people, that I don't know if I really trust this guy.
Right.
Can I really trust? And so when you can't give an honest answer, it goes into, can I really trust this guy?
Yeah, because she was definitely looking like, oh, wow, okay.
And so somebody who's already been abused and somebody who's already been in a situation where they can't trust a person, she doesn't want to mess with you because you can't be trusted.
Yeah, and she thought about, she was like, you know, I kind of feel like I shot myself in the foot when it comes to making connections with other guys. Because I had been so focused on Brian, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have invested my time in that. Because look at him.
That's the hardest part about this show is the dilemma. Because you invest in somebody else, when you get down to the later weeks, you're short. Because you have not built any other investments. There's nobody else to keep you around. There's nobody else to hold you down. You have nobody else.
And she said, I just don't want him to be looked at as Brian's girl. Like, nobody want to talk to me because that's Brian's girl. Like, that's his eggs in the basket.
Like in high school, don't mess with him, that's Brian's girl.
Yeah, so I thought it was cute. Apparently, I think they said this before, they do all their freestyling at the table, and so Brian had his little freestyle, did his thing, and Joy did hers. I thought the one line I thought was cute was she said, I'm Chi-Town bred, but Houston fed. And it was like, yeah, we can see you got fed. I see, you know, with that booty.
My comments to myself.
And so then they was like, Alex, your turn. I was like, oh snap, okay. So Alex does her little freestyle. She says, I like Brian, but I also like Rashid. I was like,
where'd that come from?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you be sitting there like, when she did it, you like,
I was like,
did you just do that at the table like everybody? Like, where did that come from?
She threw that out there like, if I'm a go, let me just go ahead and go.
Let me go in there.
I like Brian, but I also like Rashid. I was like, what? And I was like, please put the camera on Rashid.
Yo, Rashid has been low key.
You play with a muff right now, bro.
Low key, Rashid has become Mr. Popular.
He's a sleeper.
He's been the sleeper. The card god has been the sleeper on this show.
Coming up, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, dog.
She slipped that in there. I was not expecting that. I don't think nobody was. But interestingly enough, we go from that to Rashid and Simone talking at the fire pit and, you know, trying to not refocus, but, you know, go into their date time, you know,
see where they
parlay off of you know their previous date, and you know he asked her, well, what puts me at the top, And she was like, well, of course you're handsome. And she said, well, you've been married before. And she was like, it's not just that you've been married before, but when you were married before, you were married for 10 years before. So I know that you're committed. You're into being married. So I know that's why you're here. And then also that you're wanting to be in love and be married again. Yeah. Like, that tells me that you've learned from it. And you haven't given up on love and marriage. Basically,
you on your grown man stuff. You ain't here to play. You're not here to manipulate. You ain't here to just get some booty. You're actually here to find love because that's what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. You want somebody that you can spend the rest of your life with. You want somebody that you can interact with. You want somebody that you can have conversations and come home with and have dinner with and be able to. You want to be able to create a union and a bond. Yeah. And basically what she was saying is, I like the fact that, you know what, I know you when we get in this relationship, if it's me, that you'll be committed to us. Yeah, what she said was, she says, all of that, it makes him intentional. Yeah. I know that you're intentional about what you're doing. And he was like, oh, so you want a reformed man. you want to get the man that's all fixed up. And she was like, well, I mean, yeah, because, you know, I know you've learned lessons from what you've been through. And he was like, yeah, you know, I have. So they had a nice little interaction. I was like, okay, that was good. So then we go to the flavor of the month, 2 of them. Edwin and Joy, they go out on their date again. Yeah. And after the massage from last episode. Yeah. And he shares with her that, you know, I just was having a day today where I just kind of felt overwhelmed. She talked about the fact that he deals with PTSD and that we've heard that before. Which a lot of veterans, war, people have been in war. They say, you know, they come home with PTSD because that's something that you've never seen before. And then you couple that with the fact that he's been in law enforcement. Almost the same kind of thing. Yeah. And so he said he was having, you know, just that kind of day. And so he just came outside and he just lifted his hands just to release. And he was like, you know, I looked and I was crying, but I felt better. I'm at the place where the things I've gone through in my life, I know that this is what I need. Don't make me soft, or, you know, a lot of men don't want to release like that. He said, but I felt better doing that. And you gotta be able to do that. You know, like I said, I know people that I work with, that I deal with, that have PTSD, and you gotta be able to have that moment to release. You gotta have that moment to relax. You gotta have that moment to go aside, because they've seen things that most average people will ever see. Mm-hmm. They've been in situations that most average people have never will be experienced. They lost comrades and partners and seen things of that nature. And sometimes, and what he said was, lift up. I just thank God. I had to show, you know, God, it could have, in his mind, it could have been another way. It could have been something different. And he's just enjoying the moment. And I think, again, doesn't make him weak. We learned that from, you know, Married at First Sight, when we talk about Miles. Mm-hmm. There are men who have emotional issues. There are men that battle with some things. There are men, and it's okay for a man to express his feelings. It's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to release and to enjoy. I think we've been taught that in our community so long that you're supposed to be a man. You ain't supposed to show any kind of emotion. But you need that emotion. So you show that emotion out in the public so you don't show it on your wife. Yeah. Yeah. And he talked about the dog test that he wears. And in him talking, Joy said, you know, she's seeing that Edwin has a lot of layers. You know, they have to be peeled back. And not that she had an issue with it. It's just knowing that he has layers that you'll have to get through to get to the heart of him. Yeah. And you know, she's glad she sees him working on himself and getting to a place of peace. He said he didn't really want to, he said before that therapy wasn't really for him per se, but he does have a therapeutic way that he's working through it. And she says in going into a relationship, her thought process is that I've been through my healing, I've dealt with my issues, so when I come into it, I want to be whole, and I want whoever I'm attaching myself to come that way too, or, you know, at least be able to acknowledge, I know I have this and this going on, and I'm trying to get it together. And that's Edwin. He realized he got this and this, and he is trying to get it together. Yeah. So I thought couple of Simone and Edwin, and then Edwin and Joy, they kind of had the deepest interactions. Edwin's a deep person anyway. He's gonna be deep regardless of where it is. I like it. He's a serious guy. Yeah. He's serious. So we go from the serious guy to, like I said, I just feel like he's so silly. He's just lovable to me. He's growing on me. Mm-hmm. We see Anthony and Winter. Yeah.
And as they're walking out, they run into Jay, and Jay with his
go back to winter outfit, because Anthony was like, yo, you do rocking your Jamaican stuff on today.
Yeah.
She had a little two-piece, like, short set on, a little midriff showing.
With the red, yellow, and the green.
And the black. So she was looking fly, and, he commented on that. She giggled and laughed and thought it was good, and then Jay comes up.
Yeah, and Mayweather Diggs. Mayweather Diggs said, how come every time I see you with my girl? Which we thought was hilarious, because you all wrapped up in joy, but went to your girl. Like, man, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. You can't hold them both up. Come on.
And then Anthony doesn't say anything.
And Winter was not feeling that. Like, he wasn't like, all right, dude, fall back, back up.
He didn't even say. The line would be like, yo, it might have been your girl, but she's with me now, or something of that nature. He didn't say anything. No comeback, and it's like Winter's like, hold on, dog, you ain't gonna fight for me. You ain't gonna say nothing. You can just let him say I'm his girl. Like, nah, dog, that's not what we do. And I can feel her on that. Every woman want a guy that wants again protect her, or at least comments, nah, man. That's my girl. Or show that you at least want. It wasn't about the protection. It was more that the fact that you want me.
Right. And Winter has said that before. If you want some time with me, come interrupt. Pull me away. Whatever the case may be.
Show me that. Show me that you want me. Show me that I'm valuable to you.
Right. And
message.
So. They talk about him and Denise, and he says it's between Denise and Winter. That's where his interest is. Trying to figure that out. And he asked her, like, what do you want? What you want to come out of this? She was like, I'm at a place when whoever I'm dealing with, I want to be in a household that's peaceful, that's got a lot of trust and honesty. That's the kind of mate I want, and that's what I'm looking for when it comes to a guy.
And for those who haven't watched the show and this is your first time with you, Winter was already married before. And her husband cheated on her within weeks of their marriage. Yeah. So she wants somebody who's not going to cheat on her. She wants to trust somebody. She wants to have confidence in a person. And again, she says she loves hard.
Yes. Yeah, she does. And so, she asks Anthony, and Anthony says that, I've been in a life where I've seen my parents, my mother and father, they've been together a long time, and what they did to make that. And he said, so based on that, I'm the type of person that got the attitude that I'm one and done. If I get married, I'm gonna be married. That's what I want it to be. And he said maybe that's why I'm so guarded, because I don't want it to be something I get into and then it falls apart. I want it to be, that's what it is. And she basically told him, you might just have to put yourself out there. She said, I really had to experience, she said, to really experience love, you just got to jump off the cliff. You just got to give into it. And he said he's experienced love. He knows how to experience love. And she put in his words, she was like, so what it is that you just scared to be hurt. And we talked about that. When you decide you want to be in a relationship, when you want to be in love, when you have to risk, there is a risk of being hurt, but it's a risk you have to decide to take, and you have to determine, like Winter said, she said, coming through my divorce and being at the low point that I was, and I rebounded and I came back. She said after that, I feel like I'm willing to take a risk, because if I take the risk, I know I can come back from it, because I've already come back from it. I've already been there. And that's the thing that people need to learn when you get into a relationship. And she's telling Anthony, you have to take the risk. I might get hurt, but if I get hurt, I'm gonna be okay. And I think when you go into a relationship fearing to get hurt, or knowing that you're tiptoeing, and what you're doing more harm than good. Not that and then you question everything. Is this, are they gonna hurt me today, or they're not gonna hurt me today? You got to go in and enjoy. You know what, this relationship is gonna work. Putting your all into the relationship, having 100% relationship, having those difficult conversations in the relationship, having those good conversations in a relationship, communicating, being truthful, being trustworthy, maintaining a good character, being all those type of things. Then that what, I put my all into this relationship. If you are hurt, it wasn't because of you. Right. But you got to do it. And speaking of whether or not to dive in or not, we see Brian and Alex talking, and he says that Alex still his number one, but he knows there's been a change there, so they just want to talk and kind of feel it out. And she expresses that, you know, she's had her reservations.
Yeah.
She feels like he doesn't allow her to talk. You don't listen to me. I'm trying to talk about something serious. Yeah, and you laughing and joking. And he was like, you know, she said, I feel like you deflect.
That's a safety mechanism.
Right.
That's his well, when he doesn't understand, oh, let me be funny and let me sidetrack. Let me be funny, and then he doesn't understand when there's a time to be funny and a time to be serious.
But what he said to me, it's just to him it was a way of being charming, and I always want to put a smile on your face. So, and that's fine, but you might not put it at the right time, you know, like an inappropriate time. Yeah, she said I like to laugh and I like to smile, but at a particular time, not when I'm trying to tell you about something serious.
Right.
And he jokes, he says, oh, you want some, can I talk a massa? She was like, see, you doing it now.
You're doing it now.
But
again, he doesn't listen to her. It turns him off again. Turned her off again because he's not listening. She's telling you something, and yet you just took what she said in one ear, out the other, and didn't change behavior. Didn't even try to change it for the fact that we're sitting here talking.
Right.
So to me, if you can't do what I'm telling you about something simple about you deflecting, what happens when we're in a relationship and something serious corresponds or something serious happens? What's going to happen then?
Yeah. You
know, so that's where she's like, she's processing. He doesn't understand she's processing all of this, and we'll see later.
Yeah, and she talks about the fact that she asked him, have you ever been in love? And he was like, yeah, I've been in love once. And she, you know, like, when was that? When I was like 20-something. She was like, when you was 20-something, you ain't been in love in your adult life? And
yeah, but 20-something is adult life.
But he said, no, but I mean adult, because isn't he 40-something at this point, or 30-something? She was like, so you never been in love in your adult life? You know, like, what does that say? And he says, you know, maybe I hadn't been intentional about falling in love. Maybe,
right.
You know, they talked about maybe you haven't been intentional, that it was just about having fun instead of focusing on, okay, I'm trying to find somebody to settle down with. But I don't know about Alex and Brian, you know, this is real touchy. But then we see Simone and Calfani, and it's like my husband said, she's trying to, it's almost like she's grasping at straws, trying to find somebody that she can talk to or connect with so she can stay in the game.
She is smart. She understands, I need to find somebody else to keep me around. I want to be kept around. I want to be able to make it to the final 6, I guess, couple-wise. I want to be kept around. So here, this is what she's trying to do. She's trying to find somebody. But it may be just a little, it may be a little too late. Because everybody's already booed up.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting when she's talking to Calfani and she says, you know, you're still in my top. We was like, Calfani was in your top? First of all, you already know he got 2 women on his plate already.
That he's spending most of his time with.
Yes, Lord, he already got 2 women on his plate.
Step back, boo.
And, you know, she said she just hadn't had a chance to explore him because he got 2 women on his plate. He is occupied.
I wish Simone's friend had never got caught up with her situation with the airplane, her daughter getting sick. Then we might have seen who Simone was interested in. Because
For real,
because Simone's friend couldn't make it to that little interview session. Her daughter was sick. We didn't get to see who Simone was feeling.
Yeah, it would have been good to see that. But I like the way Calfani was like, you know what? He basically shut it down. He was like, you know, I got these 2 that I'm interested in, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to focus on the people that have genuine intentions. Hint, hint, genuine intentions with me. Not somebody just trying to find somebody.
Who liked me since day one.
Right. Because then she goes from there, then she goes to talk to Brian and says, you know, he says, well, let's see if you can be consistent. Again, you trying to see if you're being genuine. And she says, you know, you got to give me a chance to be consistent. Let me feel it out, you know. And you grasping at straws, honey.
This is somebody else's man, somebody you haven't had a conversation with, somebody else you haven't interacted with all these weeks.
Grasping at straws, just trying to find somebody. So finally we get to the cookout, to the barbecue. Tom is in there cooking, and he tells them, you know, we want y'all to continue to explore compatibility, feeling people out or whatever. Edwin comes to help him out with the food.
And that's what Simone was doing. I'm going to go back. Simone, I'm sorry if you're watching. You were just exploring compatibility.
but it looked like you just finding somebody.
But yeah, the way it cut, but she was just exploring compatibility.
Yeah, but again, with the people. I mean, I would have rather her, do that with what she did earlier. I mean, we see her talk to Edwin in this. We've seen her talk to Calfani. She talked to Brian. She didn't talk to Rashid. She ain't talked to Anthony. You know what I'm saying? You ain't talked to Anthony. It's like, dang, okay.
She exploring her compatibility.
Anyway.
Let it be what it is. She's exploring her compatibility. Leave it alone.
But anyway, so yeah, so they cooking the food. The one thing that I laughed at, I was like, I think this is interesting. Adriana was like, oh, this is good. I never tried potato salad before. I was like, I never known anybody that hasn't tried potato salad. I know people that have tried it and didn't like it. But for her to say I never tried potato salad, I thought that was, and I ain't gonna get all stereotypical.
I am. We're gonna take a black card. I'm not gonna revoke your black card, but we're just gonna put a stamp on that. We're just gonna put a stamp on there to let you know that you're about to be fine.
I know a lot, cause I mean honestly, I know a lot of. I have a good friend that doesn't eat potato salad, but it's not that she hasn't tried it before. Like she don't eat anything that got mayonnaise in it.
She tried
so she ain't eating coleslaw, macaroni salad, tuna salad.
Potato salad before.
Chicken salad. I was like, huh, you never tried it?
You ain't never been to a cookout in Houston. You ain't had Thanksgiving. I'm sure you ain't been to no church function after noon service, between services, and the mother downstairs in the kitchen.
She said she never tried potato salad. I was blown away.
Mama never put it on her plate.
I was blown away.
They never put it on her plate.
That's what I'm saying. I was blown away. Growing
up like I did, whatever was on that plate, we'd eat.
I know, right? I was blown away. But anyway, so Tommy takes some time to talk to Anthony, and he says he's feeling Denise and Winter, and that it's tough for him to pick one.
Yeah.
And he says Denise is at the top a little bit. And Tommy said, well, oh, you and Denise went skinny dipping. And he was like, God, dog. Anthony was like, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. But it was
you had to know they saw his cameras everywhere.
It was like a little uncomfortable for me, but I did anyway.
Right. And so Tommy talks about the fact that Calfani said Denise has got this problem with possessiveness.
Yeah.
And he was like, has that been an effect on you? And Anthony was like, I haven't noticed it. But you ain't noticed it because she ain't all wrapped up in you. If she was all wrapped up in you, I promise you would see it too. And that's basically what Tommy tells him.
No, she wouldn't because, well, she might have because I was about to say Winter's into Anthony too, but Winter's not as deep into Anthony as Adriana is into Calfani. So it's kind of, the claws wouldn't might not have came out.
Yeah, and so Tommy basically says that, well, people present themselves differently to different people. So, that's possible. And then consider the situation. But Tommy says, as far as you dealing with women, know that every woman wants to be wanted. Wants to feel like she's wanted and that she's been chosen. I mean, they choose you, but off the top, a woman wants to know that, oh, he's picking me.
He's picking me. He wants me.
Yeah. And he was like,
he wants me to want him, and I want him to want me.
Absolutely. And so Tommy said, just keep that in mind. Yeah. Just keep that in mind. And so from there, that prompts Anthony to go talk to Winter. And, he said, I'm baffled, I'm confused. I'm kind of torn between the two of y'all because, both of y'all are so great.
Winter's like, just talk about me. Her big bamboo earrings. And I'm feeling, and you know what? She's so classy. She tried to do it in a nice manner.
Says, I only want to hear about me. I don't want to hear about her.
Nobody else, just hear about me.
Just me.
And I'm like, you know what, Winter? You're a positive type. Let's keep it positive.
I don't want to hear about nobody else. But he said he's stuck on what to do. And she was like that was bad to her. It's like, you're telling me that you're stuck. Like, I don't want to hear that you're stuck between the two of us, even if you are. Like, give me some kind of hope.
Again, nobody wants to be number two.
Yeah.
You better off saying, that's one A, you one B, you one B A, she's one B. Don't say I'm stuck on both of them. It's like, okay, where do you want me to put you at then?
Right.
Where do where I know I got somebody else. I might have Jay, I might have Edwin, but I want you to be my number one. So let's work.
Or at least put some effort for. She says, I want you to be more assertive, more aggressive. She said she doesn't mind if he come interrupt and step in between and is a little more assertive, but because she is worth it in the end, for what it could go ahead, interrupt, step in between us, Put your big boy drawers on.
Like, excuse me, bro. Let me talk to my girl for a minute. Excuse me, bro. And when can you come on for a minute?
Right.
Just to know that she know what. Oh, look at Anthony.
Right. Step your game up.
Step your game up.
Tommy talks to Alex, asks how everything's been going with Brian. She's like, you know. She says she has some things she's got to work out, and she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. She don't want to completely cut him off, basically what she said, or discount him for the things that she's done, that she's seen, because she feels like that's probably what has happened to him before. She want to base it on what she's getting from him. But honey, you getting that from him, so
he's showing his true colors are shining through.
And she says she's concerned that he hasn't been in love as an adult, and so she's trying to figure out, is it because you weren't open to it, or was it some things that on the other side that the women noticed about you that was like, nah.
They noticed some things. I don't think he was open to it. I think they noticed some things. I think sometimes you look and talk to Brian, or you see the clips of Brian and him, he's still in that, like, he's a college kid mentality. Like, he still got, you know, some playfulness. It's playfulness, which is not bad. He doesn't know when to play and not to play. Hasn't learned that.
Yeah. And she says she just wants him to listen and you know, do something.
You can't teach a grown man to listen. Not at this point. Not with this stage where they're at.
But I mean, he gonna need to. But Tommy says, you know, if a man wants to change, he will change because he loves you that much. He will make changes. Same
thing I said. So you can't teach him. You can't teach him. He has to want to change.
Yeah.
You can't force him.
Oh, absolutely.
He's gonna have to make the difference. He's gonna have to make up in his mind, you know what, my girl wants me to listen and she wants me to be more in tune. So I'm gonna start making the conscious effort to stop joking around. I'm going to make the conscious effort to listen. And we have seen, again, go back to what I talked about a while ago, that he has not, even in the moment, he has not changed. So how can you expect him to change in the long haul?
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. But, so then we see Tommy meet with the guys separately and the ladies separately. And he wants the rundown. And so we'll just go through that real quick. So Tommy sits down with the ladies. Winter, who you feeling? She said, I'm feeling Jay and Anthony. If I had to pick somebody, I say Jay is up by about half a point.
Half a point.
Of course.
That's a half a excuse me, brother, that's my girl.
That's
what it is.
That's it right there.
Excuse me, brother, that's my girl. That's the half a point that will put Anthony ahead.
Exactly. Joy says she's feeling Jay and Edwin. And if she had to choose, then she would pick Jay. But she's feeling both of them. Of course, Adriana said, I'm feeling Rashid and Calfani. Denise said she's feeling Calfani and Anthony. And Simone says Rashid is leading the pack. Rashid is your pack.
He's the whole pack.
Ain't nobody else really. Ain't nobody really else. You know, ain't nobody else really. Didn't nobody pick up on your interrogation?
Yeah, she casting a line out there. And ain't nobody bite. She really nothing.
Bite, not really. Then Tommy says, okay, who do you say you're least compatible with? And Alex and Simone both said Edwin. Denise says Brian, and Adriana says Brian too. Both of them say he jokes too much. Yeah. He talks too much. He's just too much. Like, I ain't really feeling it or whatever. So when he talks to the fellas, of course Jay says same thing. He's feeling Joy and Winter. They got that little triangle going on.
Yeah, square.
Edwin in there a little bit. Yeah. Because when he asked Edwin said Joy.
Edwin said Joy.
He didn't even mention He didn't even mention Winter.
Nah, not at
He
all.
said Joy. You know, we back on that again. Calfani said he's feeling Denise and Adriana. And Tommy said, how did everything go? Did you know with you and Denise? He said, you know, I talked to her about it, and she's doing a little bit better. But Calfani threw a monkey wrench in. He said if he had to choose one,
had to choose the day, dog,
he would pick Adriana.
Dang. Hands down.
He said he would pick Adriana. I was like, wow.
He's having fun.
Because then Rashid came back and said, well, you know, his choice is Adriana.
He's having fun. And this is the problem. Calfani's having fun because guess what? He doesn't have to worry about Adriana going to buck on the next person. He ain't got to fight every night to prove his love. He just ain't something that he got to do. You know what I'm saying? I
got to fight every night to prove my love.
If you know what movie that's from, go ahead and put that in I know. Put that in the comments.
It is so. Brian says he's feeling Alex, but when we're on, we're on. When we're off, we're off.
Okay.
He does admit that, and he actually says he's feeling winter. I was
winter.
like, okay, I didn't expect that, but okay. I think it's the chest and it's the front and the back that he's feeling. I mean, but she is sweet. She's cute.
She is
you know,
cute.
she puts me in the Southern Belle type of vibe. You know. And so who's least compatible? Who's the least compatible? And Edward says Simone, which is the same thing Calfani says. I said, oh,
and they both
boy.
said it was a little too late.
And Brian said it too.
Too little, too late. They both read through the fact that she's trying to play. I don't want to play the game. She's trying to get them, and it's too late. She was worried about running around. She had put her eggs in all one basket too, in Jay, and then the situation came out with Jay and Joy, and now she's kind of fishing to try to find.
That's
out
the
what's
word. She fishing.
She's
fishing. You fishing.
She's fishing.
So again, Edwin, Calfani, and Brian said they're least compatible with Simone, not really feeling her, even though Rashid was feeling her. Rashid and Brian both said they not feeling Denise. So right now, those are the two that might be on the chopping block for the guys, and for the girls. They say it's Edwin and Brian. Those are the two they looking at. But remember, it's only going to be one of each. And they did a little bit different. Everybody came together. They all in there.
And all the mixing tables.
You know, at the mixing tables. And all right, so, you know, I met with the fellas. I met with the ladies. And this is what, and Alex walks up. I said, oh, we get ready to cut a joker in front of everybody?
In front of everybody. No hold barred.
We getting ready to cut a joker in front of everybody. And so Alex talks for the women, and lo and behold, she had to DX Brian.
And I think she wanted to. I think she said, "Let me do it." I really think when
You
that conversation,
think so?
look, when that conversation went down, she's like, "I'll do it."
Cause really, I'm the one that gotta let him go.
I'm the one that gotta let him go.
Wow.
I think she was the one that did it. I think she decided to do it. Let it be me.
Yeah, well, she did. She ain't had no.
He felt some type of way, but. Again, he brought it on himself.
He did. You know, I think he understood. He understood.
He was like Simone. He was fishing because he hadn't spent any time with any other women.
That's true.
He didn't have any other connections. His connection was Alex. And so he had put so much time in Alex that he hadn't really built relationships with anybody else. And then everybody else knew about his foolishness with Alicia.
Yes.
Winter read through his stuff at on the little boat cruise they had. So he wasn't shooting, and they knew about him lying. So he was like, "Dog, you got to go."
Yeah. My only concern with them cutting Brian is who was there for Alex, because we ain't really seen her go out with nobody else.
Nah, but she said she feeling Rashid.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. But
yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. I feel like my boy gonna be spread right then. They spreading right then.
But he's in a good position.
Yeah. So then Edwin comes up to talk for the guys. He talks for the fellas, and the choice is Simone. They was like, sometimes you need to take the professional hat off. We want you to just relax and get to know people and just, you know, talk regular.
I'm not surprised. I am surprised that Simone made it this long. If we look at it, she was one of the first ones on the chopping block.
Right.
From day one. And she has been able to survive because of connections she has made. It's just too little too late. If she did this, you know, after she got off the chopping block and worked through certain issues and started connecting with people and dating and asking the questions, if she had met Rashid weeks ago and did all this stuff, then it might have been a different story for her and far as relationship wise.
Yeah.
So she just came too little too late.
Yeah, so bye-bye Brian, bye-bye Simone.
It hurt my heart because I like Simone.
Yeah, I like her too. Brian,
I thought her and Rashid would be a good couple.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's why I was upset about them cutting her too. But who else you gonna cut?
Because right now you're in a situation, and we want to wrap in a situation where if Calfani picks Adriana picks Calfani, and Rashid has nobody else. Well, he got other people that like him, but he hasn't built relationships with other people.
Right.
So then he'll be out of the mix. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's a whole different scenario. Now you got Alex who might be in the mix with Rashid, and now you have, you know, so it's a lot of things that can take place when you send somebody home like a Simone who's building a relationship with Rashid. So now you affect different people. Yeah. Just on the flip side, you affected Alex now because she has not built any other relationships with anybody else. So let's say
it's like they almost have to go together.
Almost, at this point, yeah, you almost have to go together.
They have.
We saw that with Chris and Nia.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
At this point, if I had to predict for next week's show, and they got to eliminate a woman, Alex go home. Unless somebody does something very detrimental. I think Alex goes home next week.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this episode of Ready to Love. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you had a chance to watch it before you came to the review and we didn't give nothing away. But
if you didn't, hey, thank you. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, hey, thanks for watching the review. All right? We appreciate it. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure you check out all our links in the description, our Rakuten link as well as our Audible link. Hey, make sure you check it out. We're less than a month away from Married at First Sight. We're excited about this new season of Married at First Sight in Atlanta. But if you want to check out our past seasons of Married at First Sight, make sure you hit the check in the playlist for our past episodes of Married at First Sight. If you miss any of our reviews of Ready to Love, we also have them in the playlist as well. So make sure you click the link and enjoy the reviews of Ready to Love and catch up because next week is another episode.
Yes. So thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.